Okay, so hi guys, and welcome to the first episode of Who's a Geek. In this format, at least, we've had a few Who's a Geek in the past. It was either written down, uh, links below, and or like impromptu interviews with like other people during cons and things like that. So this is the first time we've had like this recorded, produced, quote unquote, kind of interview with someone in the geek community. We're going to start on our first episode. We're going to have our first guest, who's a very special first guest because he is the dev of one of the games we're currently playing for WAG Plays, Lawmage Academy, which is actually also our most viewed series. So that's pretty cool. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi everyone, my name is Verinius, but you can call me Jin. I'm the solo developer of Lawmage Academy. I'm also Filipino, so I know most of you probably in the WAG community are Filipinos.
Oh yeah,
So
we
glad
are.
to so glad to meet everyone. And I didn't know that this was your most viewed WAG Play series. That makes
Yeah.
me want to promote it even more and give you even more views. I just love supporting people who make content out of Lawmage Academy because
Oh
it's
yeah.
mutually beneficial. So might as
Mm.
well. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
because
it.
like I think it's because of your like support of us that it's our longest or like most viewed series
Just wondering.
because
I mean,
Mhm.
how many views per episode? Like, how do you count it? How do you say that it's the most views? Is it like per episode? Do you average it out, or
uh
you add it
I
all up?
think for all of like our first episode of Lawmage, like it was
Yeah.
like in the
Oh,
70s
really?
views na.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And for
Oh,
like a small channel like us who only has like 200 subscribers, that's pretty big na.
like almost. Well, because when you upload your videos, I watch it right away, and
Oh
I
yeah.
see two views plus one. So I never thought it would reach 70. That's amazing.
Oh
That's
yeah.
actually one of the most the most views that I've gotten in Lawmage Academy is about maybe 200, 300 views. The
Mhm.
very first Lawmage Academy video. So just knowing that now we're getting 70 per episode, that's mind
Oh
blowing.
well
I mean,
no,
I never.
70 on the
Oh,
first
the
ones.
first one. Okay,
Yeah.
still
Cuz
mind
like
blowing.
with like let's plays, it's usually like tapers down as the longer
Right,
the
right.
series goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, of course.
Ganun talaga.
I understand. But
Yeah.
still, it's so pretty. It's an
Yeah.
honor to be here, and it's an honor to be featured in your channel.
On the
And I'm
first
really happy to be
episode
here.
of
Yeah,
this format too.
yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
It's our pleasure as well. So we really want to like put out uh, Filipino content creators, comic book writers, video game people. So it's really our pleasure to have you on here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. So, do you have
So,
any questions?
mhm. Oh yeah. The first thing I guess is what made you want to make Lawmage?
Okay. um, so sometime around I think July of 2018,
Mm.
last year, RPG Maker MV went for free over the weekend.
Ah.
Prior to that, I've had this idea during law school. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a lawyer, but I'm a new lawyer, so I passed the bar 2018. I'm a
Mhm.
relatively new lawyer. At the time when I started Lawmage Academy, I just finished the bar exam, and throughout law school, I've had this idea of using the law or
Mhm.
knowledge of the law as some sort of power to control your life, to control your property, to do whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
And if you don't have that knowledge, like you're almost powerless and you rely on other people to do these things for you. You pay lawyers to do it for you.
Mhm.
And I'm a fan of RPG games. I'm a fan of Harry Potter. I'm a fan of Manakimia, Persona 4. And I've
Mhm.
always wanted this sort of magic school RPG in a proper way. I'm not talking about a simulator, a farming simulator, a school simulator. Like a real RPG with a nice story, nice plot, nice character development, and you level up, but also you control what skills you learn. There's just an extent of open world. Well, not really open world, but it's not linear, not too linear.
Uh,
And instead of waiting for some publisher or developer to make it, I just got tired of waiting. Like I don't know when that's gonna happen, so I just decided to make my game. And when RPG Maker MV came out for free, I took that opportunity and I enjoyed it. It was easy to understand. It was easy to learn, to pick up, and I started from there. I took it as a personal experiment because, as you know, my college background is philosophy.
oh yeah,
It has nothing
both
to
of
do with
us.
making games. Both of us, right? It has nothing to do with making games.
Yeah.
Then I took up law school. Nothing to do with making games either. So this is a completely different skill that I have no background knowledge on. So I challenged myself, without any prior background, can I learn this skill given 1 year? And I will just study a lot, 1 hour per day, every day in 1 year, just working or studying about game development, about RPG Maker, and just making my own game and trying to build from there. So that's how I started out, just a personal experiment to know whether or not I can learn a skill with just perseverance. And it would be interesting to know. So I documented it from day one in Facebook. I was still in Facebook. I didn't have a Twitter and Instagram back then. I documented it. Every highlight, every step of the way, I would upload a picture and a description of what happened. It's still available in my profile, but not to the general public, but to my friends in Facebook. They can see it.
Oh yeah, like that was actually one of the other questions that I wanted to ask is that how did you find time to do this while being like
Right.
a lawyer? Yeah.
Okay. So when I was starting out, I was working in the Human Rights Victims Claims Board. So it's like a government agency. And my job there was to be a legal editor, and I was doing basically clerical paperwork. I would just write decisions. So it's an 8 to 5 hour job, right? And so on my way there, for example, I'm commuting. I would have downloaded some videos in YouTube about game development tutorials, and while riding the Jeep, I would just listen to it or watch it, like 5 to 10 minute, 10 to 20 minute videos. Actually, 5 to 10 minute videos of this channel called Extra Credits or Ask
Extra
Game Dev.
credit.
Yeah, they have these tutorials on different aspects of making a game, and I would just watch those during the commute. And after my job, I would go back to my house or I would stay in a coffee shop. And as I said, just 1 hour every day. And if I can't do that, for example, I'm too busy on a Thursday or a Friday, then I would just make up for it the next day, so 2 hours on a Saturday or whatever. So just that discipline of finding time of 1 hour every day, whether it be 1 hour before your bedtime or during your lunch break or doing 5 hours on a weekend. And I was having fun while doing it. So sometimes hindi ko namalayan na naka 3 hours na, gano'n. So there's also the fun factor because playing a game, having fun playing a game is different from having fun making a game. So when you're making a game, it feels like a puzzle. You're doing puzzle solving and you're also doing something creative. There's a different sort of satisfaction and enjoyment in making something than experiencing something. And to me, it was something new because I'm not an artist, I'm not a writer, I'm not a game developer. I'm just a nobody who's enjoying this for the very first time. And that's how I dedicated some time into it. And it helped that I updated my Facebook with these developments because
like kind of like
motivated.
what you call this?
Yeah.
It's like this. You put it out to the public, so
yeah.
you have to parang there's this obligation to do it.
Parang
kind of.
It's sort of expectation and self-imposed expectation, and people. Although at that time, no one cared, right? No one believed in me. I was my very first fan. But there's some
we're
sort
all
of
our very first fans, I think.
right. And when you would upload something online in your personal Facebook and you get likes, it feels nice to be acknowledged.
Mm.
Starts with one like, two likes, and then it becomes 10, it becomes 15, and bit by bit, as you improve and you go along, you get 100. People are starting to see what you're doing, and next thing you know, you have 1,000 followers in Twitter, and it's just mind blowing. And the encouragement I get from people, it also keeps me going up to now. But now, so when I became a lawyer, I got hired in a human rights non-government organization called Alternative Law Group. It's inside Ateneo. And
okay.
what's nice about it is that ano siya, flexi time. So I control my time. I don't have to be in the office 8 hours a day every day. So I control my schedule, and the administrator, my boss is very cool about it. It's a very relaxed environment. As long as I meet my output and my obligations, I'm good. No one really dictates what I need to do every day. So I really control my time at this point. But what's very important is that no matter what your job is, just finding at least 1 hour every day. I think that's very important when you want to develop a skill. That's it. Yeah, commitment to it.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I kind of feel the same way with our own like little project of like doing this Let's Play thing. And
because you have to edit the videos aside from recording it, right?
It's the editing that like takes up a lot of your time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A huge inspiration for it was my experience in law school. But also, so Lawmage Academy is an academic setting. So you go to class and you get tired when you work too hard. You try to study books. So I took inspiration from my own traumatic experiences in law school, but also some game mechanics from Persona 4, because what I've learned in game development is that when you make decisions on game design, it has to make sense. It can't be too realistic, because if it's too realistic, it won't make sense in a game, and it won't be fun. So I had to adjust, and it took a lot of testing before I reached a point where, okay, this is the right balance of realistic and game element.
Yeah, because like a lot of people who say, like, let's say in shooting games, where a lot of people are like complaining that, oh, if you just wait a while, your wounds like
will heal.
will heal. That's not realistic. But then if you think about it, just patching it up with like bandages is not realistic either. So there are like aspects of game design that have to be removed from reality nga talaga.
Exactly. And it's, people who say that, they're actually minorities. They're not majority of the people who play shooting games. They suspend this, suspension of disbelief. And same goes true with any genre of games. I mean, games will never be fully realistic. And if you make something super realistic, it's really not going to be fun. I mean, you don't have a breathing mechanic in most of the games, but in real life we breathe every second, right? Or you blink your eyes, but you don't notice it, but like you blink it, but you don't have a blinking mechanic in most games. So people are more than happy to suspend this disbelief, precisely because they want to enjoy something. So you just have to focus on some core aspects of the game, some emotions that you want to explore, and you try to translate that through game mechanics. So for example, in Lawmage Academy, I wanted players to experience the thrill of learning. But to do that, you should work hard for it, and that's why I came up with the spellbook mechanic. That you don't learn a skill outright. You have to spend some time learning it. It could be in the morning, you could read it at night, but the fact remains that you have to spend time and effort. And when you do finally learn it, there's this little fanfare that plays in the background that you've learned a spell. and it makes it a bit more rewarding in that way because you took some time, some effort. There's a sort of build up to it, and then you learn it, and that's one thing. That's a game mechanic. That's what you call a game mechanic,
Mm-hmm.
and that emulates the feeling of learning something new, of mastering something. In a way,
Mm-hmm.
of course, it's not perfect. It could be improved depending on the game. There are many ways to approach this, but my point really there is that you just focus on certain feelings or things about life that you want to explore and then translate it to something that would make sense in a game
Mm-hmm.
through game mechanics.
Yeah. Okay. So, in let's talk about like influences.
Okay.
What influenced like how Lawmage was like structured, game mechanics and things like that?
Okay. Majority of the game mechanics was inspired by Persona 3 and Persona
Mm-hmm.
4. So you have this day and night cycle and a calendar, which I know it's not fully implemented yet, but a lot of the games who have a time mechanic goes by, you know, one second in real life is 1 minute in game.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games do that, but not many games do what the Persona series does.
Which
Like
is
you
like
just have
action based.
yeah, you just have action based, or you have morning phase, an afternoon phase, and a night phase.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go by hours or minutes or seconds. So that's one core mechanic that I really took from Persona. And then I saw one of your episodes, and you pointed out the social links. That's one
Mm-hmm.
thing as
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
well. And the weakness mechanics, actually. A lot of role playing games, when you do physical attacks, there's only one element. It's just a physical attack. But in Persona 3, you had pierce, blunt, and slash.
Mm.
I took that as well in Lawmage Academy. You have three types of physical attacks, all of which are different elements, and
Mm-hmm.
monsters can be weak to different physical attacks. And enrolling in classes, that's taken from Manakemia.
Mm-hmm.
Manakemia is not really a school. I mean, it tried to be a school, an alchemy school,
Mm-hmm.
but your choices in classes was constrained. You only had a few classes to choose from, and it doesn't really matter which one you pick first because you end up taking everything anyway. You can't miss any of the classes.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I wanted to improve on in Lawmage Academy. That you can choose some classes, but you can end up missing some classes because they're time limited,
Limited. Yeah.
or you progress through the plot very fast, so you skip out on some of these. Of course, the tutorial classes will have to be required because that introduces you to how the game works.
Mm-hmm.
But in the future, you will be able to miss out some classes because that's how you make meaningful choices. The fact that when you do make a choice, some choices don't become available,
Mm-hmm.
and if you end up letting players take everything in the end, then
The
it
choices
doesn't
don't mean
matter,
anything.
right?
Yeah.
It don't mean anything because at the end, you'll take everything anyway.
Yeah.
So I think,
We
yeah,
encountered one of those with a
yeah,
what
yeah.
was it?
The
What
charm,
class was it?
the
Yeah, the charm
one charm.
classes. Yeah. So
I
that's
saw
one of
that
it.
one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you took it because some streamers,
Miss it.
after, yeah, they never went back to class right after aura skills. Right after
Mm.
they examined Osborne, they started going out, doing quests, and they never bothered checking the classes. So they missed it and they didn't know it was there.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
I mean, some people did find it, but some people didn't. But that's the point. That's the point.
Mm.
You control what you want to do. You do what you want to do in the academy. It's your own experience, and that also helps me watch playthroughs again and again because there's
Mm-hmm.
always something to look forward to
Oh yeah.
every stream. And even though it's a 5 hour demo, not too much going on, but some people really tackle problems differently, and
Yeah.
very very interesting.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. Yeah. So, in terms of like the art of
Okay.
Lawmage, did you make the art of Lawmage, or was it some like a stock thing that
Okay.
RG Maker had?
The one in the demo right now,
Mm-hmm.
the characters are stock the characters and monsters and the items
Mm-hmm.
are from RPG Maker MV and VX8. So I bought a license for both versions of RPG Maker because they have different stock assets.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a license for both of them. So so I could use the assets of both
Mm-hmm.
um, in one game. So it's perfectly legal. That's what it's in the terms and conditions of RPG Maker, as well as the
Mm-hmm.
music,
Mm-hmm.
also stock music. But I also bought some from the Steam Asset Store, the RPG Maker Asset Store.
Mm.
So music packs, um, the animations, the skill animations. There are
Mm-hmm.
some stock animations, a lot of it, but I also bought a lot of animations for the elemental spells, the casting animations,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the monsters and portraits. I mean, they're placeholders in the end, but it's nice to have some good-looking monsters. That's why sometimes
Mm-hmm.
the art, they don't feel consistent because
Oh
part of
yeah.
it is RPG Maker assets and part of it is something that I bought from the asset store.
Mm-hmm.
But same with the face portraits. You'll see
Mm.
the template there with the faces of the main characters, same angle, nag-iba lang
Yeah,
yung
yeah.
hairstyle, hair color. But then some characters they have a different angle and a different way of their different art style.
Mm-hmm.
Yun, dun na nagkakaiba. But again, these are all placeholders. My goal really was to just given so 1 year into making Lawmage Academy, I did some testing with my friends. I refined the mechanics. I want to know for real, is this fun? Because if it's not fun, I'm not going to customize the art yet. I'm gonna keep refining it. I'll keep refining it. I'll
Mm-hmm.
fix bugs, I'll add features. So I had to know if it's fun. And so I took a plunge, uploaded it online and made it public.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make something and you show it to your friends, you'd expect your friends to say to enjoy it.
Oh
You
yeah.
expect your friends to give you positive feedback, and it's hard for me to believe them that they're saying something genuine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't know if it's just me, but or maybe artists listening to this right now or creators, maybe you think the same way. When you show it to your family, you expect them to say positive things. You can't expect them to critique your work because
Mm-hmm.
your family, your friends. So I wanted complete strangers to play my game, and I'm gonna leave a feedback form and tell me what you all think. And
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly, I just wanted to know if it's fun, and surprisingly, streamers picked up on it, and YouTubers picked up on it. It was so shocking for me, and it suddenly started getting recognized, and even won an award, got nominated for some
Mm-hmm.
awards. Didn't win, but just being nominated, and it's not even finished. It has
Oh yeah.
placeholders there.
Mm-hmm.
It just blows my mind what happened with Lawmage Academy.
Mm. We feel the same way actually. That
Yeah.
there are some videos that we make.
Mhm.
We've advertised them to other Let's Play communities that we were part
Yeah.
of,
Okay.
and we would get like negative like feedback,
Uh
and
huh.
to us that was fine because it shows that we're like pushing our comfort zone and just like not showing it to just our friends, things like
Yeah.
that. Mm. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
you're not alone in that feeling, I'd say.
Yeah. And I think criticism is very very important. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Very.
it's not like everyone gave positive feedback to Lawmage Academy. It's not 10 out of 10 all the time. It's
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and yung mga akala kong the things that I thought were really great about Lawmage Academy. For
Mm-hmm.
example, I thought the art was crap because it's default RPG Maker assets.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw the feedback, a lot of people loved the art, and
Mm-hmm.
that was surprising for me because I thought people wouldn't like it because it's RPG Maker assets. Um, and I thought the music was really great because I love the music. But some people they thought the music was the least. I mean, the music scored lowest
Mm-hmm.
for some people. So things that I thought were the key hooks turned out not to be the key hooks
Mm-hmm.
for a chunk of people. So mga ganon, it's nice to get criticism very very early,
Mm-hmm.
so I could fix it, and that's what actually game developers advise: is that test early, fail as much as you can early on, as fast as you can, so that you can fix them early on and improve.
Oh yeah.
And it's learning how to deal with failure, with criticism,
Mm-hmm.
and just improving. I can say that this really tested my patience, and I'm sure you tested your patience as well, getting
Mhm.
criticism and feedback. But I'm looking at your Let's Play videos now. I do enjoy it. I like the sound quality.
Mhm.
I like how you guys talk so naturally with each other. You have this chemistry, and I
Yeah,
like how you.
we it was an
Yeah,
it was an actual like decision talaga na I'd bring in CJ, who I
yeah,
have like good like chemistry with talaga, to help me with the let's
right.
plays. Yeah.
And the jokes and the voice acting. And you have this intro sound clip, the chatted plus CJ, dun,
Ah,
dun,
yeah.
dun, dun, and then there's a farting noise. That brand, that signature uh, bit, which I think is very important. And I don't know, maybe you didn't have that in your past videos, but you included it because you learned that it's important. So
Mm-hmm.
same thing with Lawmage Academy. I didn't know that these things were important up until someone brought it up to my attention.
Mm-hmm.
So mga ganun.
We're actually planning to also like change the intro, because like it's stock. It's like stock.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
feel
stock
like a
music.
stock music.
Yeah, the all stock music. We're actually,
Oh, cool,
since we're
cool.
also musicians, we're trying to like make
Oh,
our own.
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
That'll be
maybe
great.
in next week or next week or something, you might see like a different
Oh,
intro
nice.
music na. Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you're talking about the you're building up the foundation of your game talaga, where
Yeah.
the aesthetic and the art is more secondary, in,
Mhm.
at least with your game, kasi you were building the foundation upon like what is fun, right?
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
in a game development, I mean, I watched a lot of game development tutorials and advice from indie game developers,
Mm-hmm.
and the art and the music, it's what you call polishing. I mean, polish
Mm-hmm.
in a game. I mean, think of a game that doesn't involve computers. So you think chess, you think tag or hide and seek, you think
Mm-hmm.
of card games. These things, they don't have music. They don't exactly have art. You can play chess with whatever things you can use. You can play cards, whatever cards. Even just simple designs on these cards are not really works of art. They're just plain symbols, two
Mm-hmm.
colors. But you have fun, and you can play different games using just a deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter, so a game is really just a bunch of rules. You have an objective and you have means to get to that objective, and then you have obstacles, and then
Mm-hmm.
you test if it's fun. And when you try to put in art very early on, you do great art. You do
Mm-hmm.
3D sculpting. You have 3D characters and paintings and whatever. But your game isn't fun. It's all gonna be wasted. The time and effort that you spent making those assets, you might end up not using them anyway because you have to revise your game
Mm-hmm.
design.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so glad I heard that advice because that really helped me decide not to focus on the art too much
Mm-hmm.
and just focus on the game mechanics and try to see if it's fun. Because if I polish the art and it turns out it's not fun, it's boring, it's bland, it won't matter. It really won't matter. And
Mm-hmm.
that's wasted resources, wasted time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they call don't polish too early because it's going to waste time and resources.
What
Yeah.
what are like, would you would be okay with like giving an example of like a hurdle you encountered while you were developing Lawmage?
Okay, a hurdle. There's no one big hurdle,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a series of challenges and things that I don't know what I don't know how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
For
Mm-hmm.
example, I don't know how to do pixel art. Last year, last year, I was convinced that I would hire an artist, that I would save up money, I would get funding so I can hire an artist to do this kind of pixel art style.
Mm-hmm.
I was convinced because I I didn't believe in myself enough. I didn't believe that I could learn pixel art because I'm not artistic. I don't have a talent for it. Um, I never tried it. Why would I expect myself to be able to do it? But so that's one hurdle. But one day I saw some girl in Twitter. Her name's Matilda, and she posted her very first attempt of an animated pixel art sprite. It's not perfect, but it looked really great in my eyes. I mean, I thought it was great. And I thought to myself, you know what? If she could do it, it's her first time to animate it. And if she can do it, something like that, I think I could do something like that too. My first attempt doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It doesn't have to be really, really professional looking. It just has to look like this slime girl, this kind of thing that Matilda did, which isn't perfect, but I could something that I could be proud of. So ganun yung mindset ko and I got inspired and I tried it out. And then months later, I started learning, I was getting better, and I can say that I heard I overcame that problem. Now I know how to do pixel art. So another example is making cutscenes in RPG Maker. Making cutscenes for video games. Like if you saw my very very early versions, the cutscenes were it was boring. It was really boring, and because I didn't know how to do it, but I looked up tutorials in YouTube, and I got some tips, and then I tried it out, and then polished. I trial and error yan eh. So I think it would go better if I did this, and then I did this, and up until I was satisfied. So it's really a process of encountering a roadblock and then Googling it. Like seriously, you can learn anything in the internet today. Just go to YouTube, go to Google. You can learn it. You can find the answers to it. And I don't know how to code. Right now, I have no idea how to code. I don't know how to begin. But once I finish with my pixel art phase, my I'm going to take that same mindset and apply it to coding. That I can learn this, just given the time and effort. I can learn it because a lot of people, I mean, people who go to college to learn how to code, they started at zero. So what makes them different from me that I can't learn it? I can learn it. So I'm sure I just need to study it and be diligent. So these little. There's no one big hurdle that oh shit, I think I'm stuck. But more like I have this problem and I need to overcome this problem. So I have to study it and figure out a solution. So that kind of mindset and a cycle when making something like this. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, like another person that we interviewed for Who's a Geek. This was in a written format. He also like mentioned that these days it's so easy to learn. He was an artist, by the way, so it's so easy to learn so many mediums, digital,
Yeah,
3D, traditional, just by googling, and it's such
yeah,
a it's opened up opportunities for a lot of people
yeah.
who
And the
yeah
best part is it's free. You don't even have to
oh
pay
yeah
for it.
so
You just
yeah
there's ads. You get to watch some ads, but other than that, knowledge is free at this point.
pretty much yeah
So yeah.
we're also in a like at a point where even big universities are like releasing their
Online,
classes like
right?
online. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a
So
diploma
all the
online.
materials and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, true. And actually, the reason why people, I mean, part of the reason why people upload these tutorials is because it sells. And when I say sell, it means if you're helpful in the internet, if you help people, they find value in what you're doing, and that would drive engagement to you, and that's the reason why I follow certain game developers, even though I've never heard of them before, because they upload these tutorials, and since then I've been watching more of their other stuff. I've been checking out their games because they've been so helpful, and it's actually one of the social media studies that people did is if you're if you're putting out quality content and you're putting out helpful content,
Mm-hmm.
you're more likely to get a lot of followers and a lot of people supporting you and you getting more viewers. So that also encourages people. So that's one thing that people can get out of sharing knowledge for free.
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
Oh yeah. So since we've kind of like, oh wait, no, later na lang pala. um,
Sige.
what in your eyes makes Lawmage stand out? Because there's a
Mhm.
lot of JRPGs out there that usually
Yeah.
have, you know, similar game mechanics. Like you already mentioned, Persona, or Fire Emblem, or other JRPGs that
Okay.
may be compared to how you're doing it.
Right.
So, what
I
did
like this
you?
question.
Yeah, what
Okay.
makes Lawmage unique for you?
So this is what game developers call a game pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So a game pitch is in or an elevator pitch. What makes your game stand out? And they always try to say to avoid technical terms like don't use RPG, don't use normal genres, don't say Metroidvania, don't compare your game to other
Mm-hmm.
games. So I'm gonna tell you my pitch,
Sige.
and this is what I tell people. This is what I told people at ESGS, even to non-gamers. I would tell this to people. So and I'll let you judge. I'll let the listeners decide if
Mm-hmm.
this stands out from the other games. So my pitch is very simple, but I hope it captures the essence of Lawmage Academy. So here goes.
Mm-hmm.
In Lawmage Academy, you will experience the life of a student in the Lawmage Academy and go on adventures as you unravel the dark secrets of the Academy. You learn spells, you will learn how to craft your own items, learn how to craft your own charms, you learn how to fight, you make friends and go on adventures, and as you go on, you begin to unravel certain mysteries and conspiracies surrounding the Academy. So that is my game pitch,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's a sort of a clickbait um, feel into it. But I never mentioned role playing game.
Mm-hmm.
I never mentioned RPG. I never mentioned Harry Potter. Never mentioned Persona 4. But I did mention what you can expect,
Mm-hmm.
what it involves, things like that. And then there's the hook. There's this mystery mentioned that
Uh-huh.
kind of makes you want to know more about it. And it's actually just one sentence. I just expanded it. So it's a one sentence pitch, but I could say it works. It definitely stands out because I'm not even 1 year into it, and I've already had so many streams and
Mm-hmm.
2,000 followers and rising in Twitter. And I, the trick is not to compare yourself or not to associate with your game
Mm-hmm.
to popular games,
Mm-hmm.
because if you compare yourself, that's why I don't like seeing games that say this is a Zelda-like game or this is
Ah.
a Shining Force-like game, because you're already associating your game to something bigger, and you will always be compared to that. And how will you stand out other than being an indie game of this famous game in the past? I
Mm-hmm.
don't like doing that. I would rather let people associate the game themselves to something. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, um, I watch streamers play this game, and they associated Lawmage Academy with games and TV series that I never thought would be associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone mentioned Black Clover, which makes sense. I mean, it's a
Ah.
magical anime.
Ah, yeah,
Black
Black Clover.
Clover. Someone mentioned Lunar, which is a NES game in the 90s. Like,
Actually, it
this
was
reminds me so much
also
of Lunar. Yeah.
Lunar.
What
Yeah,
about
I
you?
think.
What does it remind you of? I'm
Well,
curious.
for us, it reminded of us of old school NES
Right.
games, obviously. NES
Okay.
RPGs, like
What else?
Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Um, Persona, of course, because it's also
Okay.
one
Yeah.
of our favorites.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah. And
Harry
actually,
Potter.
no. Okay.
Harry
Harry
Potter.
Potter. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, surprisingly, no one mentions barely anyone mentions Harry Potter. They would
Really?
always, yeah, they would always say something like, "Oh, this reminds me of old school RPGs." They would always say that first before they even mention Harry Potter, if they mention it. And I
Mm,
was so surprised with it because I know you associated with Harry Potter, but
yeah.
some streamers and content creators, they never said it. They never said Harry Potter in any of
Mhm.
their streams or content. Maybe because they've never seen Harry Potter. Maybe because they're not fans.
I'm,
You know.
actually, me,
But
I've only followed Harry Potter for like 3 movies, and I've never
right,
read the
right.
books. It's
And
just,
actually, I mean,
yeah.
if you look at it, the only resemblance is that there are four houses and it's a
Oh yeah.
magical. Other than that, I mean, it's not even modern day London. It's a fantasy world with
Hmm.
dragons and elves and I don't know. So I let the people decide. Do you associate it with whatever you associate it, and there's no exact science on how you make your game stand out. I mean,
Hmm.
the art looks great. The gameplay isn't exactly super original or innovative,
Hmm.
but the way it's crafted, I let the players decide that how does it stand out in your opinion. And that's
Hmm.
why the feedback form is there. That's why the optional donation is there because if you really think this game is worth supporting, feel free to donate. And people have been donating. Surprisingly, sometimes I feel ashamed for taking
Hmm.
money from them because some people, I'm telling you, like some people, they donated money as you would pay for a AAA game. Like they
Wow.
donated sixty
The
dollars,
$60. Wow.
$50 for it,
Hmm.
and this is not even. I mean, it just blows my mind. Like these people believe in this game so much that they would pay money for a full blown game for it,
Hmm.
and that's what gave me confidence. I mean that's what also fuels me.
Hmm.
As a creator, sometimes you have doubts. Every now and then you doubt yourself. Is it really a good game? Is it really worth it?
Hmm.
Am I really doing a good job? But then people reaffirm you, and some people they speak with their money,
Hmm.
and it's very very effective. And that that also pushes me and pressures me not to disappoint them because these people believe in you. So
Hmm.
don't let them down. So parang ganun yung nafe-feel ko din. And it makes me happy that people truly, truly believe and in what I'm doing. So I hope that answered your question on what makes it stand out. I mean,
Hmm. Yeah, definitely,
there's no
definitely.
one answer to it.
And also,
So,
like, when it comes to like gaining fans, I think that there is a point where you have to decide that, oh, these guys are just, not my market, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
certainly. When I went to ESGS
Mm-hmm.
in the Fiesta, some people they see the game and I mean they take a glance at your game and they walk past right by it. Some
Mm-hmm.
people they play the game and after a few minutes they leave. Part of it is because in ESGS you want to play so many games. You
Mm-hmm.
can only afford to play about 10 minutes at a time maximum. I mean 10 minutes is already so long
Mm-hmm.
if you want to try so many other games. But this is an RPG, so you really have to sit down and to really enjoy it. You have to sit down and spend time. And some people they don't like this kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
They don't enjoy it, and that's perfectly fine because precisely as you said, these are not they are not your market.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I've realized as well, which really surprised me, is that there are some people that you think are not your market, but it
Mm-hmm.
turns out they are. So
They start to
I'll
like
explain
your
it.
things.
Yeah, I never
Yeah.
expected this person to like my game. So, for example, there's a streamer called Easy Juice
Mm-hmm.
and ODB. Hey guys, if you're listening, I'm mentioning you. So these are streamers from UK, I think London
Uh-huh.
or somewhere in the UK, and they stream Call of Duty. They stream Rocket League. They stream usually first-person shooters.
Mm-hmm.
They
I love
never
competitive
stream.
games.
Yeah, they never stream role-playing games. And all of a sudden, they messaged me asking if they could stream the game, and they did, and they finished it like from beginning to end in 3-hour sessions.
Mm-hmm.
playthrough or 2 hours. And that really surprised me because I would never think that these people would be my market. It turns out they are my market.
Mm-hmm.
They like it. So there's also that surprise. It's so difficult to make a game where everyone is your market
Oh
unless you're
yeah.
doing like Angry Birds, casual, hyper casual games. And there's nothing wrong with that, but just
And even
it's not
hyper
my thing.
casual games, diba? They usually
Yeah,
turn off the more hardcore people, right?
yeah, and it's deciding who is your target market, and then studying who is actually your target market. So, for
Mhm.
example, right off the bat, I decided my target market are people who grew up playing PlayStation One,
Mhm.
old school RPGs, and my target market is probably people who are 18 years old to 27 years old, who are millennials, who grew up watching Harry Potter,
Mhm.
50% guys, 50% girls. Parang ganun yung projected target market ko.
Mhm.
A few months later, I checked my analytics, and it turns out my target market are predominantly male, like 75%, like 80% male or
Mhm.
85% male, 15% female, who are 28-year-olds to 38-year-olds in the US, and who, I mean, most of them, a good number of them are fathers already,
Mm.
and I never expected it, and not I didn't get so much engagement with the Harry Potter community. That was my target market, but I
Mhm.
did not get my audience from that community.
Ah,
Like
interesting.
it's super interesting. Like it's parang hindi ka talaga, you never know eh. You think you're 100% sure na ito yung target mo and you will get people from this kind of
Mhm.
audience, but it turns out you're only 25% correct.
Uh, but
it,
yeah,
it,
like I think it's just because at this stage, Lawmage is also still pretty young.
true,
Because
true. So, you
like
know,
I said in the video we just released today, actually, na parang I
yeah.
could see there's a lot of like fujoshis who would love this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I watched
Like
the
see Jin,
yaoi,
like I
the
was saying
Dojin.
that he'd be yaoi bait
Yeah,
definitely.
Jin and I said. But, hopefully that happens because that
Mhm.
means I'm really putting it in the pop culture market. It's really in there in the map. That's the dream.
Mhm.
Um, so but it's not like I'm just leaving it all to luck as well. I'm also
Mhm.
doing my part. I'm actively engaging people, and I'm trying
Mhm.
not to sound like a corporate robot, being
Oh
so
yeah.
formal in my tweets. I mean, I post memes of my own game because who
Mhm.
else is gonna post memes of your game? It's not even. So you have to be
Mhm.
your own fan, and I can't be too uptight about it. I have to be relaxed and chill because it makes people feel that
You're building a
um,
community
you build
and
a
not
community.
like a market, right?
Exactly, and it
Mhm.
feels like you're more connected. There's no arrogance to what I'm doing. Diba? Kasi
Mhm.
sometimes you get the feeling of, oh, this video game account won't even comment on my tweet. So,
Mhm.
but if a developer comments on your tweet or comments on your comment, replies to your comment, suddenly feels more personal. You become more invested,
Mhm.
and I just like that personal interaction. And this is something that I can do because I'm the solo developer and no one else is paying me. So
Mhm.
I can afford to do this, but big companies they can't afford to do it because someone might mess up and that might get some backlash or whatever reason you have. But
Mhm.
I like what I'm doing. I'm enjoying. The people are enjoying it. We're just all having fun, and it's working. It's working.
Mhm.
And okay, I'm not sure if I should say this, but I think it's nice. I mean, it's not totally a secret. So
Uh huh.
recently, I met Ryan Sumo in ESGS. Ryan Sumo he's like the CEO of Squeaky Wheel Games, which is a
Mhm.
publishing and Filipino publishing company, but
Yeah.
also game developers. So they develop political animals on Steam. They
Mhm.
develop Academia School Simulator, and now they're funding Ruin Arc, another upcoming game on Steam.
Mhm.
And then he messaged me on Facebook asking me if I'm interested in doing some part-time community marketing or social media manager for
For
them.
them. Mm-hmm.
And I have no background on social media. I'm not a multimedia arts major.
Mm-hmm.
I just did Lawmage Academy, and I mean, I connected with streamers, sure, and did all that. But in a span of a few months, I got thousands of followers, and I guess he thought I could be an asset to their team and offered me this opportunity. And I told him, I mean, this is some exciting news because I've never had this kind of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I'm gonna think about it because I need some time to think about it. Although Ryan, if you're listening right now, I'm thinking about it. I'm formulating my plan. I'm calculating things. I will get back to you, but it's something that I'm open to doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And something that I never thought I'd get into. I
Mm-hmm.
never even thought I would qualify for that position. He's not asking me to work full time. He's asking me to spend whatever time I can give to him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also pretty cool because I don't have to report to an office. I can just work at home, right? And all I
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
do is post some tweets, go to Discord, which is what I'm already doing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna get paid for it. I hope I'm getting paid for it, right? But it's a very interesting thing, a very interesting thought that you I never thought I would get here, and I never thought I would make such an audience or attract some publishers either.
Mm-hmm.
So just some very exciting and interesting news that I wanted to
Yeah.
share. It happened very recently. That's why I only brought it up here in
Mm-hmm.
your episode.
Okay.
Right.
So, what's this? With regard to talking about like big companies and
Mm-hmm.
them not being able to interact with their audience, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are saying that indie is like the future of video games. And in that aspect, I think there are like indies are more uh have an advantage, I think, with like
Yeah.
building a community. So what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that, I guess?
Yeah. Indie games are definitely more personal. They're more connected with their community.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Partly because the community it's not as big as the established AAA games. For example, Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah.
There's so many Final Fantasies, and you could be a fan of Final Fantasy 7, but not necessarily a fan of Final Fantasy 10.
Mm-hmm.
And those are two separate communities, and so on and so forth. But um, and it's hard to reply to every single person if your community is like a million members.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to reply to everyone. But if your community as an indie developer, you have like 10 people commenting on your tweet, of course I can spend some time replying to each and everyone. Just 10 people, just 10 tweets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna thank 10 people, and that's it. But I agree. Indie games, they're very crucial to the industry
Mm-hmm.
because indie games, the developers have this freedom to do whatever they want. They have this creative freedom, unrestricted by um, greedy, money-hungry businessmen who know
Mm-hmm.
nothing about games or whatever. That's why you see gacha games. You see gacha mechanics on some AAA games nowadays,
Oh yeah.
which is so
Mm-hmm.
sad because it never happened before. But because it makes so much money, the investors, and it's gonna profit the stockholders and the investors. So you're going in that direction, even though the developers, they know it's not what they want. It's not the direction that they want.
Mm-hmm.
But in the games, they don't have that obligation to the stockholders precisely because they're not corporations. They will not be driven by the executive board. They will not take into consideration the. They will not even implement any demands by the investors or the stockholders or the executive board because there are no investors or executive board to begin with. You're
Mm-hmm.
free to do whatever you want, but this freedom comes with a risk of financial instability.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different business altogether. You don't have this. I'm not making any salary from making Lawmage Academy,
Mm-hmm.
but I can afford it because, as you mentioned in your most recent episode, you need to check your privilege. I mean, I'm coming
Oh yeah.
from a position of privilege where I can afford to work part time and I can
Mm-hmm.
have some time to do it as well. I have a safety net, and
Mm-hmm.
so I can afford to do this, but not everyone can afford to make an indie game without getting paid. That's why they go to publishers very early. They go to Kickstarter very early, even though the game is not yet exactly too polished, because they need the money, right? And a lot of indie devs that I know are actually working part-time. Majority of them are working a full-time job and then doing indie dev part-time.
Yeah,
Because
like a passion project.
either a passion project or what they're making is not enough for their living expenses. And some indie developers, they do a Patreon or a coffee or they stream just to get that extra income to keep it going. Because, I mean, working a full-time job and doing an indie game, it's not conducive to your health. It's like working on two
I can
jobs,
imagine.
right? But I can afford it because my main job, I have flexible work hours and I can work anywhere. So I'm from a position of privilege. But so that's a trade-off there. You have creative freedom, but you have financial instability, and you need to hit it big first before you can do it full time. Same with being a content creator, being a streamer, being a YouTuber.
Yeah,
right?
I think we talked about that in the video today as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, like us, What's a Geek is largely a passion project, and like we're not earning like a lot of money, a lot of like
it's
the
not
money
profit,
that we do.
right?
Yeah, the money that we do have is like maintaining the website,
Yeah, exactly.
buying stuff for new, like to improve what we have already. So like
yeah, the money that you're making is like goes to expenses, so it's not exactly profit either.
Yeah,
same goes for me because the money I'm making is going to the game as well. It's not going to any basic necessities.
Yeah, like right now, me and CJ just recently mainly uploading onto the WhosAGeek YouTube because we're restarting the YouTube.
Okay.
I don't know if you've noticed, but the YouTube channel has been around for 5 years, and we only picked it up like October. Me and CJ started making videos on this, and this new series that we're doing, which is Who's a Geek, with you guys, with you right now, and hopefully with other guests in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's largely a passion project for us too, and as much as we hope that it'd be something that will give us like our livelihood someday, it'll take a long time.
It will take a long time, but as long as we keep going, and I know it sounds cheesy, and I know it sounds like a parang paulit-ulit na, as long as you keep going, right? Keep at it, keep believing, keep dreaming. Eventually, you'll get a break, and I can already see it the way you're doing your content. It gets better and better every time. And I mean, you also have to study the market. You also have to study a lot of things. But same with Lawmage Academy. I mean, last year, I had 0 followers. I didn't have a social media account. Like, I don't know where this is gonna end up. I mean, right? But I do know that I was at some point in time I'm gonna sell this, and my only goal is to break even. My only goal is to maybe make maybe 30,000 pesos. How much is that in dollars? I don't know, like $500.
Yeah, roughly.
That's my only goal, right?
Yeah.
So, but now I'm thinking about investments from Kickstarter to about $20,000 in funding to $30,000 in funding, because that's how much I would probably need to finish the game. And if you think about it, that's 1 million pesos. And and the thing about it is, it's not a ridiculous amount to think about.
Yeah.
I do think it's perfectly achievable given my market. I mean, my audience right now are people with disposable income. Fathers with some disposable income, with some sort of safety net. Because if your audience are people who are 18 years old, they're not going to pay a game that's pay for a game that's not even finished. 18-year-old Chad would probably not fund a Kickstarter campaign. Just didn't have money. But given my target audience and given how much traction it is getting, I do think it is a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So from thinking about making $500 to thinking about raising enough $20,000 to finish the game within a 6 month period
Mm-hmm.
since releasing the demo, I mean, that's how I can say if you just keep believing, keep doing it, keep
Yeah.
improving. I do think it's very possible, and at some point in time, it will happen. It's not a question of if it's gonna happen. It's just a question of when it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Could be
Mm-hmm.
sooner or could be later.
Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah. So, uh, perfect dog barking.
Perfect.
Perfect segue into our last question. What are your future plans for Lawmage?
Okay. This current version, I plan to add probably the final feature.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, in the next update, I can do it. The dueling mechanic. So, as you know,
Mm.
there's a dueling hall in the academy,
Yeah,
and
guarded by Lifa.
yeah, by Lifa. uh, I need to work out the mechanics. I already have some ideas, but there
Mm-hmm.
will definitely be a dueling mechanic at some point. After Lawmage Academy, when it's finally finished for the PC version, I'm going to port it to mobile so
Mm-hmm.
people can play it in their phones and their tablets.
Mm.
If I get lucky, if I get some dev kits, I might do it for Switch or
Nice.
PS4.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just do it. You need some sort of a developer kit,
Yeah.
which needs, you have to talk to somebody and pay for it for you to
Mm-hmm.
get it. So it's not very simple. But if I get the opportunity, why not? And if this takes off, I want I want an anime series on this, man. I want an anime series. I want people making dojins and spin-off manga. And who knows, I might even make spin-off games. But I already have
Mm-hmm.
ideas for future Lawmage Academy installments as well. So I hope it takes off.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much, everyone, for supporting the game, for watching the videos, playing it, streaming it, and donating. I really appreciate it, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, me and CJ, I think I speak for both of us when we say that we're looking forward to the time when your game gets the attention that it deserves,
Oh,
because
thank you so much.
I think there's a lot of like fan made stuff, like a lot of potential for
Yeah,
fun fan made stuff around
right.
like Lawmage, that I think it's
That
gonna
would
be
be the
really
dream.
nice to
That would
see.
be the dream.
Yeah, like
Awesome.
with the current um community that you're building, I think it'd be really nice to see them also getting noticed for being one of the
Yeah,
first few people who picked it up, you know.
of course. So that's a sneaky plug-in for me to include you guys in the game. No, but yeah, I'm open to it. That's one of the techniques that game developers say
Oh
that
yeah,
you can
definitely. I've seen it
collaborate with
before.
content
Mm-hmm,
creators,
mm-hmm.
right? So of course,
Yeah.
and I'm already doing it with
Mm-hmm.
the content creators.
Yeah, I
It's just a
see. I
matter of time.
saw like recently that pixel art for the new monster you made
Oh
with
yeah, it's
Nim.
Nim, Invader
Yeah,
Nim.
yeah,
He did so
looks really
much. He
nice.
did the first ever speed run of Lawmage Academy. Finished the game in 1 hour.
Wow. Mm.
Crazy. But he did some exploits. But I accept it. Fine.
Yeah. So yeah, we're looking forward to whatever like new thing, new development. Um, we're looking forward to it like blowing up as well. Hopefully,
Thank you so much.
hopefully, kind of like the way uh, a lot of RPG Maker games blew up in the early, I'd say what, early 2012, 2014. I think there were a lot of like RPG makers that blew up that time.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
I think so. And
yeah.
even up to now, I think some are really, or some are under development. It's really amazing. You'd never think this was made in an RPG Maker,
Mm-hmm.
but man, I'm so excited for the future of
Mm-hmm.
indie games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited, and I hope you guys stay tuned.
Yeah, yeah. We will. So, anything else that you might want to like plug? Any other thing?
Okay, so want to plug my Twitter account, it's at Lawmage A. I'm very active in Twitter, so if you need if you want to stay updated with the progress, and if you want to see some other great indie games or possible streamers and content creators where you want to promote your game, or if you're a content creator, you're looking for more indie games to stream or make videos about, I will send you links. I will give you referrals. I would be more than happy to help you out and support you. If you're interested in streaming Lawmage Academy, I'll be more than happy to support you and help promote your channels and your streams. That's how I work with content creators. And don't be shy, don't hesitate to ask if you need help. So I'm just here. Again, it's at Lawmage A in Twitter. Do give me a follow, say hi, and I'll see you there. See you guys.
Yeah, we'll put the link under the video. So any like links that might be important will be putting under
Okay.
the video, the links. So yeah, thank you, Jin,
Thank
for
you so
your
much.
time and
Thank you
being our
so much.
first ever guest on this format of Who's a Geek.
Thank you so much. It's a great opportunity. It's a huge honor to be the very first guest, and I wish for the success of What's a Geek, for CJ, Chad and CJ plays, and for this new podcast or interview, Who's a Geek.
Yeah.
I pray and hope for the success of Who's a Geek.
All
And
right.
good luck to you guys, and thank you so much.
Yeah. Roll the outro.